Hi, this is Alken, and welcome back to my channel. We just got a doozy story from Arizona. Um, According to the AP, the Arizona prosecutors asked the grand jury, but get this, not to indict Donald Trump in the state fake electors case. Apparently, what's happening in Fulton County is something they do not want to experience here in Arizona. And I don't see why they're making this case now, because they claim that if they try to get the stuff on Trump right now, it wouldn't be there on time. Uh, I guess they're learning the hard lesson from Fulton. Anyway, let me read the story. This is crazy. It says Arizona prosecutor asked grand juries not to indict Trump in the state fake electors case. This is by Joaquin Biller, Associated Press, of course. The Arizona grand jury then indicted 18 Republican supporters of Donald Trump who falsely claimed he won the state in 2020 election, wanted to consider also charging the former president, but prosecutors urged them not to, according to court documents filed this week. The court records filed by Democrat General Chris Meyer's office contained exchange between the prosecutors and the grand jury, who heard 18 days of testimony. As the grand jury was considering the possible charges, a prosecutor asked them not to indict Trump, citing a U.S. Justice Department policy that limits the prosecution of someone for the same crime twice and making a PowerPoint presentation on the policy. The prosecutor, who isn't identifying the records, also didn't know whether the authorities had all the evidence they needed to charge Trump at the time. I know this may be disappointing to some of you, the prosecutor said. I understand. Ultimately, the grand jury indicted 18 people on the forgery, fraud, and conspiracy charges, including 11 Republicans who submitted a document falsely claiming that Trump won Arizona, 5 lawyers connected to the former president, and 2 former Trump aides. Although Trump wasn't charged in the Arizona case, the indictment referred to him as the conspirator. The former president is charged in a federal case brought by special counsel Jack Smith with plotting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Jason Lamb, a former prosecutor who now works as a criminal defense attorney in Phoenix, said Meyer's office isn't bound by U.S. Justice Department policy. It was a choice rather than an obligation. Say Lamb, a prosecutor asking grand juries not to indict the former president. Lamb, who didn't represent anyone charged in the case, said even if Trump has been indicted and Meyer's office didn't want to prosecute him, there would have been alternate means to dispose of the case rather than potential infringe on the autonomy of the grand jury. The filing by the Arizona prosecutor also revealed that they had asked the grand jury not to bring charges against a group of Republican state lawmakers for signing a document that urged then Vice President Mike Pence to accept the Arizona fake elector forgery electoral college certifications. When the grand jury inquired about charging the 22 sitting Republican lawmakers and 8 others who won election but hadn't yet taken office, the prosecutor expressed caution when talking about providing an intern to the fraud by the legislature who signed the document. In other words, they don't want to get in trouble with these folks because, if the Republicans were to take over Arizona, they would be up a hill without a paddle or creek. So earlier this week, attorney Janice Ellis signed an agreement with the Arizona prosecutors who will dismiss charges against her in exchange for her cooperation. She pleaded guilty in Georgia last year to a felony charge over efforts to overturn Trump's 2020 election loss at that state. By the way, that person that pleaded guilty, whatever it is, oh yeah, she did plead guilty in Fulton County, and guess what? She was no help to Fulton County prosecutors. It was a waste of time. She couldn't provide anything to help their case. Also, Republican activist Loria Parlego, who signed a document falsely claiming Trump had won Arizona, became the first person to be convicted in the state fake electoral case. Prosecutors say she pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of filing a false document. The remaining defendants, of course, former Mayor Rudolph Giuliani and Trump Presidential Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, had pleaded not guilty, but I think they might be under immunity or something. We don't know yet. 11 people who have been nominated to be Arizona Republican electors have met in Phoenix on December 14, 2020 to sign a certification saying that they duly elected and qualified electors and claim that Trump had carried the state in the 2020 election. President Joe Biden won Arizona by 10,457 votes. A 1-minute video of the signing ceremony was posted on the social media by the Arizona Republican Party. At the time, the document was later sent to Congress and the National Archives, which it was ignored. Prosecutors in Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, and Wisconsin also filed criminal charges related to the fake elector schemes. Arizona authorities unveiled the felony charge in late April. The grand jury experts were contained in a document in which prosecutors respond to the request by some defendants to dismiss their charges. The defense attorneys argued that the client's action was based on the constitutionally protected speech right. They also accused the attorney general of bias against the defendant, which is not uncommon. In response, the prosecutors say the grand jury are independent and has discretion over whether to bring charges against a person. Yeah, but it's the same party. No. In one exchange, the grand jury questioned an investigator whether Meyer or any other member of staff wanted a specific outcome from the investigation. Absolutely not, the investigator answered. Let's just hope it doesn't end up like Fulton County, because we all remember what happened. One of these grand jury folks was on CNN acting like a total buffoon on television. A lot weirder than I would ever be. Something to do with witchcraft or something. I wishing the president would come down here so I can swear him in. Cuckoo. And Fulton County right now is at a standstill, not only on the presidential case that's happening before them, but the rapper's case as well. That Fulton County is all screwed up. Well, let's see what happens with Arizona, but hopefully these folks here won't do the same garbage that they did in Fulton County. There's no Fannie Willis over there, because if they do the same shenanigans, you know what's going to happen. Ain't going to go nowhere. I cannot predict that this is going to be the same thing or the charge will be dismissed or whatever. But why are you bringing it so late, to the point, close to the election, that you might not accomplish anything at all? That's my thing. I know all these other states are doing the same garbage as Democrat states. You don't see not one Republican state doing this. So, I don't know. I mean, this happened in the 60s too. They thought that Nixon won the election. They had Democrats come up with the editorial stuff. And then when they found out it was JFK, they withdrew it. There was no problem. Nobody got charged for that. But over here, it's a different ballgame. So we'll have to see what happens. But this is what's happening right now. So Arizona is the next hot spot. We have to see what happens. This is Alcan saying so long for now. Don't forget to stop.